But Viz, I think so. I think that the greater point to tie all of the points together is the communication of the expectations. So finances become an issue when she has an expectation of something that you never agreed to. So say she want to take 4 vacations a year and you never knew that she wanted to take 4 vacations and you take two and she's harboring some resentment and thinking that you should just know that I wanted to go on 4 vacations. Now that festers into an issue. And when it finally becomes something that she talks about, it's a blow up and now you're fighting about it. And you're like, I took you on 2 vacations. What is you tripping on? In her mind, you're missing those 2 vacations that she wanted. Um, or
Or
she
she was accustomed to a certain thing, and then that had to be taken away due to finance. Now that causes a problem. That
Hey, so,
piggybacks on
so
what you just
so now
said.
we're talking about
so
being impressionable. I think what you're saying, Kenny.
no, what I'm saying is that if you can be upfront about what you can potentially do,
Communication,
communication is the key
transparency.
thing about what I can do and what I probably can't do, what I can try and do, but there's no guarantee on. And she's like, okay, you know what? I can work with that. You'll get a way more cooperative person because the things you're saying is what you're delivering. Now, if you
That
make a whole lot of promises and don't deliver on them, that's when you get people who don't trust you. And when
Mm,
they don't trust you, they're not gonna follow you because they don't trust your words. You're
mm.
you're you're not the man that she sees in her eyes. But if you can present whatever you can present and maintain that, whatever that is, and be clear about, hey, this is all I can do, or this is what I can do, and you fulfill those obligations, I think once that trust is built, then you can gain the submission because she chooses to be there knowing what you are.
So
It's
effective communication is a solution that I'm hearing.
yes, I think so.
Well, I thought that goes without saying.
yeah,
And that's the problem. And I think what Sweeney just did was actually reinvented the problem again. Because if you have men out here that says effective communication is goes without saying, and we should just get in a relationship without acknowledging that that is important to have in a relationship, then we can come into the relationship with these expectations, and then, oh damn, I got to tell you that you got to communicate effectively. No, I think that needs to be laid out in the beginning. Hey, look, if you want something, because I would argue that a lot of women say a man's supposed to know how to treat a woman, or a man's supposed to know how to do this for me. If you love me, if you would know. Like, no, you
yeah,
have to communicate that.
yeah.
How
I
many
Yeah,
times
mean,
because women have to
have y'all
realize
heard
that
that?
they all. I've have heard it, and it's wrong because different women appreciate different things. Sure, there are some things that are universal, but you have to understand what that woman's into. Some women really love things that other women hate, and you just have to understand that. You have to learn how to cater to what it is that she needs, right? So that goes to what you gentlemen are saying tonight is that communication part. But you could kind of feel this out right off rip. If a person is like extra reserved, and I'm not even attracted to that, and I don't want you to be like miscongeniality, but I do need you to kind of at least be forthcoming. If I ask questions, I want straight answers. If you are reserved and you just apprehensive, that's a turn off to me because that means I can't really trust you because to me that's deception. What are you trying to hide? I don't want to I don't want to get wrapped into that. If you don't feel comfortable talking to me and me asking you questions and you giving me the answers, because I'm going to tell you whatever. I'm going to tell you what's on my mind just because you deserve to know. And if I don't tell you, how the hell will you learn about me? And that's a big issue because sometimes women do that, man. They expect you to like be a
yeah,
psychic, and
yeah,
they don't. Yeah,
Yeah.
one,
even
one,
when you ask them, they
yeah.
don't want to tell you. You're like, damn.
One
Do you,
one thing that I learned from a lot of the books, like the relationship books that I've been reading into, with marriage and just being in relationships with women, is that women typically they go through this thing where it's always like one of these deals, right? And in most cases, we have to listen to what they're saying, but we also have to listen to what they're not saying, because that's really the underlining issue of what it is that they want to say, but they're not saying it, but they're saying it because they expect for us to understand it. And that part is confusing. So
uh,
I think at the end of the day, and I think that this will always be an issue, is that women typically don't go to the extent of understanding how men communicate, and the expectation is put on men to understand how to communicate with women, and it's always that very instance that's being put on them. So at some point it's like, damn, I'm always trying to do this, and then that's where the miscommunication comes in, because we're attempting to speak to them how they want to be spoken to, but also at the same time get their get a man's point across.
I do have a question
Viz,
for the fellas
this
after Marcus.
all right, this is why I always like I might gloss over it and maybe don't emphasize the importance of this. But when I talk about the initial phase of relationship, setting up the frameworks for how you guys communicate, I think I might just say that and move to the next portion. But maybe that's really what people really should learn to focus on. Because what I'm doing is laying out how you effectively explain your position and get feedback on that position in a way that's not confrontational or causes a fight. And that way you can operate within a trust circle so you can have clear dialogue back and forth without any accusations, belittlement, or any of those unmet expectations that turn into anger and frustration. When you can do that, the cooperation and the path of the relationship becomes extremely smooth. And the worst thing you can do is expect someone to know what you feel or think. And as men, we have the ability to lay the framework for the relationship. So by doing that, it puts the onus on us to actually figure out the way we need to communicate.
Yeah.
I do have a question for the fellas, because everybody on here either married or long-term relationship, right?
Pretty much.
For y'all,
Well, I don't know if everybody, but I'll speak for myself. Yeah.
so and I'm gonna answer the question too. How long did it take you before you knew your woman better than she damn near knew herself? Like you knew, like it didn't require much communication for you to know.
90 days easily. I damn near would say even sooner than that.
Is that even possible to know somebody more? I get it.
Humor me, man. Humor me, Bruiser. Come on now.
Okay.
You're trying to be literal.
Humor you.
You can never truly know your woman. You can understand many facets about her, but there's a closet full of stuff that you will never know.
I want to humor you, but I don't believe you can know somebody better than they know themselves.
You're right.
I think that if you truly study psychology and what it is that we can learn from people that have actually studied it and what they've documented and studied patterns and so on and so forth, you can absolutely understand the patterns and what type of person they are simply by how it is that they carry out their day-to-day life, how they handle conflict, how they handle good moments, bad moments. You will see these things if you're looking for it early on. But again, one of the biggest issues is that, of course, with love, with being in love, love is involved, lust, whatever you want to call it, we overlook it because we enjoy this feeling that we're getting. So
The bottom line,
that you can see that if you're looking for it very, very early on.
I gotta say this to you. I gotta say this to you guys. You guys are all played, completely played. Played and played 100% of the time. You guys are all played. Yeah, you all played.
Like,
you know why I said that? You
played like a video game played.
Whatever it is, however you want to take it, you guys are played.
The hell
The
is that
reason why I
even
said, I will tell you why. It's not your responsibility to train a grown woman. That was her parents' responsibility. This is what the parents did. The parents failed and they kicked the ball to you. And now you have to train a grown woman that should have been trained from the age of 0 to 20. Now you're doing the job.
You're not supposed to.
That's valid, but when you talk about 20% of us who have both parents, and it's like, all right, so what are we gonna do? Just all chase that 20%, or
that's why I say you
got to work with what's out there.
That's why I say you play.
Okay,
we call it something different. We call it,
agree with that.
I got
call it adapting.
Yeah, I don't know if I can agree with that. You're so, every woman that you engage with is going to be different from the last. and however it is that they handled the relationship that they was in before that, if you're not the same exact type of man, then of course there's going to be some type of conversion and adaptability that's going to have to play a part in that. And you're going to have to tell that woman, all right, well, if you want to be a part of this life that I'm living in this movie where I'm the protagonist, right, and you want to join this team, then this is how we go about it over here. Whatever you did before that, that's cool, but that's not what we doing here. So no, I can't agree with that at all whatsoever. That sounds foolish to think that you're not going to influence your woman, potentially wife, in some type of way, shape, or form. That's
especially
essentially
especially if
what they're going.
everybody has a divided principles and divided standards as a people.
Yeah.
You can't really go off of, oh, your daughter should know this. No, nigga, my daughter don't study the same shit y'all family study. So
Right.
you have to really compensate for everybody coming from a divided ideology. But what I would also, I'm starting to tie in the reason why men, or the reason why the saying is to date younger women. I'm starting to tie in the fact that when we was talking about effective communication, by the way, I think that's really one of the good solutions that we came up with. I would say it seems like the less experience, the less communication, that's needed. The less communication about the needs and wants of the relationship and expectations. The younger the woman, the younger the woman it is, the less experience she had, the more impressionable it is. So you wouldn't have to sit in there and communicate the needs and wants as much as you would a woman who's seasoned and got a lot of experience. So, like, for example, somebody was in a job interview and they had a small resume, the interview would be shorter versus somebody with a large resume. And they want to negotiate the terms and the pay and stuff. More of somebody who's coming in entry level with a small resume is willing to accept what you're going to give them or accept what you think they should get entry level. So that's probably the reason why that's why they're saying, hey, look, go get a younger woman who's more valuable, because then you don't have to communicate so much shit.